I need someone to tell me why the Haka does what it does to black people.
I'm not even crying yet, but I'm just teary-eyed, yeah. So I thought I'd stand up and make this video because I need to know why when I watch those Haka videos do I automatically cry.
I am deep in New Zealander Maori TikTok, and I came across a video of a black creator from like a year ago where she asked like, why is it that black people get so emotionally affected by the Haka? And I have a theory.
Our ancestors are still here. They're still with us. They're moving through us.
Hey fam, Gracie here once again. Welcome back to the channel. I am hoping that from wherever you, my lovelies, are watching this from, you're doing alright and God has preserved you and protected you very well. If you continuously support me on here, thank you so very much for your support. That really means a lot to me. Now we do have an interesting episode to react on today, and specifically if you are melanated and you are in the States or from wherever you're watching from, you must have seen or you must have come across the Haka performance from a Maori people in the New Zealand Parliament. Now this really has caused a lot of people to come and stitch and react, specifically melanated people, and they're like, there is something special this Haka performance does to me. I don't know what it is, but it reaches out to my most intimate, intricate pieces of me and it tears me down. I don't understand what that means. And a lot of people have come out to say that, is this the ancestors communicating? Our ancestors still guiding us? What is so unique about the Haka and the Maori people, who are the indigenous people of New Zealand? And when they perform this, it is something different. If you felt that, well, you are not alone. We do have a lot of people in here that we are going to look at that were literally shattered in a good way when they looked at, the Haka performance. Now, I must tell you that we black people and melanated people, we are highly spiritual. We are musical people, right? We are passionate people, right? So what other people look at as shouting, uncivilized, that's what defines us. So we're gonna have to look at these reactions. Tell me what you felt when you saw this young lady performing this and then the people in the gallery joining in. Let's watch this, we'll come back and definitely talk about it.
If 6 votes opposed.
Please watch this. Hannah Rohiti Clark won at TikTok and won at life. But before I tell y'all why, spam the New Zealand flags in the comment section. Kia ora, New Zealand. So there's a treaty, the Treaty of Waitangi, that's 184 years old between the British and the indigenous people of New Zealand, right? The Maori people. And this is how they've been governing for 184 years. But now David Seymour, one of the MPs in New Zealand, is trying to narrow down the rights that the indigenous people have. So when he went to the parliament and he asked this party, what do y'all think about this bill? She took the bill and ripped it, and then she started doing the Haka. Now, what is the Haka? So the Haka dance is used for many different occasions. But in this case, in this situation, right, The haka is used, number one, for pride, letting them know you're not going to treat us how you want to treat us. Number two, for challenge, meaning that we're going to challenge this bill that goes against our people. Number three, for respect, because guess what? The Maori people in New Zealand, they respect themselves, and they going to let you know that you're going to respect them also. They stand in our business. And number four, for determination, because they are determined to not let people treat them any type of way. So they engaged in the haka to a point that they suspended the meeting for a little bit so they could go over it and calm the whole situation down. And another reason why this is so important, because she's the youngest member of parliament. But even though she's the youngest, see how forward she is and how strong she is. She is at the forefront of the movement. That's why we need younger people as politicians. Because when you got older people, they might just let any bill be passed. They might let any law be passed. But when you have younger people in the parliament, in government, they will take a stand because they know what's good for the people and they know what's not good for the people. And the Maori people feel that this bill, this legislation, it undermines their rights. And they make up 20% of the 5.3 million population in New Zealand. So I'm so freaking happy to see this young lady standing on business, because that's how it's supposed to be. Because if you don't stand for yourself, if you don't stand up for yourself, guess what? Anybody is going to come and treat you how they want to treat you. And if you don't do something about it, you're going to be responsible for the bad treatment. So shout out to this queen, and shout out to all of the Maori people of New Zealand, because they've staged a 9-day march to the capital to stand up against this bill, and there's going to be tens of thousands of people. So shout out to New Zealand, and shout out to everybody out there that's standing up for their rights.
Hey, bro. Samoan people, what is in them haka dances that y'all be doing? Because they're so powerful. I don't know why I'm crying right. I do not know what y'all talking about. But they are so beautiful, and they are so powerful. And, like, I don't know. Only one of them was at a funeral, and the rest of them were at graduations and at sporting events. This is like, I feel like it's a beautiful cry. I'm not sad. And I don't even cry like that. That's crazy. That's crazy. It's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for doing those and being so passionate about them, because that shit just punched me in my heart. Oh my God.
To the young lady that was performing the haka in that New Zealand courtroom, and she ripped that paper and started going in, that was one of the most badass things I have ever seen. And every time I see it on my FYP, I do not skip it. I do not skip it. I do not skip it. Also, to all of the TikTok producers and DJs who are even thinking about mixing and remixing that clip, don't.
I'm extremely moved by the Maori people, and I'm sure the rest of the internet can attest to feeling the same way. And I don't want us to miss that the Maori people are in a fight for their lives right now. Before Hana gets up to rip the paper, she says something which translates into, and Maori people, correct me if I'm wrong. She says, "Government, you exist because I say so, and now I revoke your rights." Hannah's words reverberated through me in learning the meaning, because it sounds very similar to Martin Luther King Jr. in a part of his Dream speech, where he says that the government of the United States of America gave colored people a bad check marked with insufficient funds, and ultimately that we were coming to collect that check and it better had something on it. Or the famous Malcolm X speech where he is calling for equality and justice, and he says that we will get it by any means necessary. Every single marginalized group on this earth has experienced colonization, imperialism, stripping of language, culture, custom, destruction of their history, whether it be by burning their books or banning them. And if we all understand that, then we can get behind every marginalized movement, including our own. Because it should be easy then to spot who the true oppressor is and what forms of oppression are keeping us from life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
If you're a Black person and you watch that video of the Maori woman do what clearly is a protest, I don't know what she said, but she tore that paper up for real. I want to share with you why I think we tear up when we hear Haka, when we see Haka. I think the Maori people still have direct connection to the power of their people in the way that our ancestors intend for us to have. I'm going to play the clip at the end, But I want you to pay attention. When that first woman gets up and she tears the paper, immediately the woman in front of her is activated. You can see the look on her face change immediately. Then you're going to see the woman who's next to her, who's a bit older, is beaming proud at watching her people, the younger generation, stand up for something. Again, I don't know what language they speak, or rather, I don't understand the language. This is my interpretation. Third, immediately community. People get up and join her immediately. They don't ask no questions. They're not taking notes. They're not asking permission. They're not arguing about a woman leading. This what we doing? Bet. Lastly, what you will hopefully also notice is there are quite a few people that are in the chambers that are not Maori that stand up on their feet out of a show for respect. There's just so much to learn in that one clip. So much to appreciate. I think the Maori people remind me that they didn't get us all. They didn't get us all.
When she slow ripped that bill, the New Zealand Parliament, and then went into the Haka. Full body chills, the chanting, the hand movements, the stomping. You can feel the pride, the passion, the unity. And then people in the gallery join in, and it's this huge eruption of the ceremonial chant and dance. It is so beautiful and so moving and incredibly powerful. I will never skip a Haka video.
I don't know if this is anybody else, but I don't understand why me, as a Black American woman, why I cry real tears every single time I see the Haka performed. I watched like 7 videos today of the protest, the people doing the Haka in protest. I've cried at every single one. Actual real tears. Why? Why does that happen?
Someone to tell me why the Haka does what it does.
Kia ora. So this is always an awesome thing to see. When I talk to people from all over the world, there seems to be so much connection that people can find and power and emotion when watching Maori perform Haka. I personally believe it's an inner primal connection and visual response and physical response to what you are looking at, the emotion that you see being poured out of people performing Haka, especially in the context of things like a funeral, that it doesn't matter where you're from, what language you speak, what your own personal cultures and beliefs is, that is something, emotion is something that we can all connect to as humans. But I'd love to know your guys' thoughts in the comments below. This is pretty sweet.
I'm not even crying yet, but I'm just teary-eyed, yeah. So I thought I'd stand up and make this video because I need to know why when I watch those Haka videos do I automatically cry. It's like as soon as I see them go, oh, make their chant, I just start to cry. And I don't know, what is it? Is it like, because I think it's absolutely beautiful. I've never seen something that I'm so intrigued in, because as soon as I watch it, I know I'm going to cry, but I have to watch them do it. It's like, I just saw a dad teaching his child how to do it. I've never seen that before. I started to cry. I don't know why. And I saw one earlier and it made me cry. And I'm just wondering, why is that? What about it is so overwhelming? And I've seen people say as well, like my cousin said to me, oh my God, when I see this dance that comes up on TikTok, I automatically cry. And I was like, does it start with a H? She's like, yeah. I said, yeah, so do I. So many people, I've even seen videos of people say that when they see it, they cry. And I just want to know, what is it? Is it the beauty of it? Is it the sounds? Is it because it's foreign nature to us? Is it a battle of our spirituality? What is it? Like, because, yeah. If you look at my saved video, the one that I just literally saved, you will see the video that I'm talking about that made me cry. But does this happen to anyone? Well, I know this happens to other people, but why does this happen to us? Now I'm going to delve into a rabbit hole of why do we cry when we watch Haka. Okay, now. This is the level of OCD that I have. Got my crispy finger them looking like Cocoa Pops.
Some people are obsessed with going back to the old days. They'll make whole accounts about, oh, actually we should eat raw meat, or we should walk around barefoot, or we should hunt fish with our hands, or we should drink unpasteurized milk and shit like that. And 90% of the time, they know nothing about history of the past. They're just making this shit up. But God forbid a brown person does something traditional. all that we need to go back talk goes out the fucking window. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that video of people in New Zealand, the Maori people. I don't live there. I don't know how to pronounce it. Basically, there's like some fuck-ass law that's fucking with them, and they're not having it. They just break out in this traditional chant, and it's fucking awesome. I love when people are connected to their culture and they just start spouting that shit, you know, real patriotism shit. Most people think the clip is fucking awesome, but you know how the internet is. There's a section of it that's just hating on these people, saying that, oh, these people are savages, or, oh, I'm glad that we conquered them. You play fucking Valorant all night alone in your bedroom. You have no fucking friends. You didn't conquer shit. The very same people who are hating on that clip will turn around and talk about traditional values and how technology is destroying mankind and bullshit like that.
Imagine being so cultureless that you watch the video of the Haka that we've all seen today that is going hella viral and saying, well, they didn't have to disrupt like this. They could have just set opposed. This is so tactless. I was baffled at some of the comments. Is this really necessary? The bill that they're voting on directly affects the indigenous people of that land. Just because you don't know how to stand up for what you believe in your own country doesn't mean other countries are uncouth for doing it for theirs. Wild. Insane. And another thing, I will never skip a Haka video. I will never not cry at a Haka video. It is so emotionally charging for a culture that's not even mine, but it is. There's something about seeing it that I just will never skip.
I am deep in New Zealander Maori TikTok, and I came across a video of a Black creator from like a year ago where she asked, like, why is it that Black people get so emotionally affected by the Haka? And I have a theory. Follow me. The Maori people are deeply connected to their ancestors when they perform the Haka. That is why you almost see a change in their physical appearance. And that was more evident to me than ever when I saw the video of the young lady in Parliament when she performed the Haka versus when she was just talking to the camera. And it was like a completely different person I was watching, because it's almost as if their ancestors come through them and speak for them. And I believe that our ancestors hitch a ride anytime there is a deeply ancestral connection with anyone, hence the Haka. Every time they perform the Haka, they have to access the ancestral plane. And every single time they access the plane, our ancestors hitch a ride because they are trying to connect with us in a deep way. So it's not just the Haka. Anytime I feel like we witness anything that is deeply rooted in tradition and heritage, not heritage, but tradition and culture, we get emotional because it's as if our ancestors come along to almost try to pull us back together. And that's why you will see Black people kind of like congregate in the comment section of a Haka video, and they're emotional and they're connecting. And I think our ancestors are trying to speak to us through the indigenous people. So, but that's just my theory. Don't try to attack me. That's just me. If you don't feel that way, that's fine. That's okay. But there is a reason why we're so affected by it on such an emotional level.
I don't know what it is about us and seeing and hearing the Haka. I start crying uncontrollably. That's like one of the only things that makes me cry. I need an explanation, I think. Because this don't make no sense. I don't know what they're saying. I don't know what they're saying. And they do it, during either protest or celebration, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why it has that. I have that reaction. I don't know. Somebody help.
You know, I am so glad to hear that I'm not the only one who watched that video of the woman, the Haka call in Parliament, that protest, that beautiful, powerful protest. She tore that paper and she started that call, and everyone joined her. And the look on that man, the House Speaker, was priceless. I'm happy that other people are sharing it because I didn't understand my own reaction to it. And once I heard others were feeling the same way, I'm like, oh yeah, time to double down on where we come from. You understand me? It's time to double down on where we come from.
The viral video of the New Zealand parliamentarian going viral doing the Haka is really, really powerful. And I think one of the reasons it gives many people goosebumps, particularly people like me, is that it is just another reminder of what we lost, right? What we lost in this whole path of colonization and everything that was stolen and taken from us. And it brings to mind how much we have been taught to reject and to shun all of those practices that we have had that have been passed down through generations, and how we have been constantly taught to ridicule them, to mock them, to shun them, and have not been passing down these practices to our children. And it's really sad because there are cultures like the Maori in New Zealand who teach their children their culture, you know. This year, I've twice had the pleasure of attending a powwow. I went to one in July and I went to one for Indigenous Peoples Day in October. I didn't even know that in New York City we had Indigenous people. I was so surprised to find out. And I went to this powwow and I was just tearing up, watching people doing their Indigenous dances, you know, enjoying Indigenous food and doing all these practices that have been passed down from generations. And every time, all I can think about is that this is what we lost. I also want to say that one of the ways in which we can resist is to learn more about Indigenous culture, learn more about our Indigenous culture, what we lost, what was taken from us, and learn about other Indigenous cultures. And that is one way in which we can resist, because we can help to build up that knowledge for future generations. And also when you learn about the Indigenous cultures of others, it really opens your mind to how much in common we have with other people. We are not as different as they want us to believe. They want us to believe that we are different because solidarity scares the oppressor.
I have some theories about why Black people are so connected to the Maori and emotional intelligence and just the way that we're responding to these videos. One, I think that we are the most oppressed group of people in the world. Black women do not catch a break. Only other culture that I think relates in a similar way is Native Americans. Pushed out of their lands. Culture tried to whitewash it, tried to get rid of the beauty and the essence of what makes America. Then we have Black culture, and one of the things that I think we forget about is how tribal we are because of our own history in African roots. So we are African. Our people are just as tribal as the Maori. We just don't get to participate in that because it's considered witchcraft in the Black church. White people used to fear the power that we garnered from our ancestors. And so it makes sense that church would then depict that as a negative thing. But the mana in both Maori people and Polynesian culture is absolutely beautiful. And I think it connects with the history of our ancestors.
I will never forget when New Zealand stood with African Americans in 2020.
I cannot lie. That, expression on that old man's face, that Nyandaneso that was seated in the, in the parliament that said, you know, the parliament is suspended, right? That was good. The disgust. That was good. And the reason as to why I'm pointing that out is because black people, they were stripped of this. Because for some reason there is something that is unsettling, there's something that is disturbing, the aura that it gives, it stings so bad to the bones that these people can't help it. The pressure, whatever it releases in the atmosphere is so strong, they can't stand that. And that's the reason as to why they stripped black people. And the intention was to make sure that they strip indigenous people of this. And the reason as to why there is such a strong connection, you guys are going to give me your thoughts in the comment section. But the reason as to why there is such a strong connection to this is because there is a vacuum in black people. When they see these people expressing and singing and performing, this is part of what they lost. And whatever was given to them, the so-called civilization, cannot feel that. When I was beginning this video, I said we are spiritual and musical and connected, not just to nature, but to everything. That's why you realize the same people that are so mad when you perform these songs and these dances, they're the same people that fancy and love black culture. It's because they can't have a portion of that. That's why they are jealous of that. And you know, I don't know if you realize that when they can't have something, they will destroy it. Who agrees with me? Raise your hand. If they can't have it, if it wasn't given to them naturally, they will destroy it. And that's exactly what they did. Whenever you could sing, they saw a part of them that could never be created. And they're like, this is too much. One of the things that the Maori people did not lose is their culture and their community. I hope you see where we're going with this. What they did to the black community was to strip community out of them and make them feel like they're isolated and they all are standing as an individual. Do you realize when this lady came to perform, she ripped the paper, right? Started singing. The people in the gallery joined in unison and did this. And this is something that was stolen from black people. Whenever we used to fight, I come from Uganda, we do have traditional folk songs that even when our men used to go to fight, there was a team of singers and performers that used to hold drums to sing and literally make declaration and manifestations of winning and conquering. So this is part of us as black people. And the reason as to why so many people are feeling like this is strong is because they don't have that anymore. And so when they see it somewhere else, it is so easy. You get like, it's like a magnet. It pulls you because that's who you are. Because a lot of people demonized these things and they're saying it's witchcraft. No, it's not witchcraft. The chantings and the songs carried strong messages and meanings. The celebrations, whenever black people were happy, they could celebrate in times of catastrophes and hard times and oppression, singing and performances and dancing. And those faces that they are making, that's a sign of bravery. That's a sign of bravery and expressing themselves. That's passion. And that's what the Neanderthals do not have. The level of hypocrisy I also find in the Neanderthals, I'm talking about the palm colored, is you will find some Australians that are watching this and they're saying, oh, this is fantastic. These people are so passionate. The expression, oh, it warms my heart. The same people that have Aboriginals in Australia that they are mistreating, and to date they never recognize them as Australians. They call them savages. The same Australians that when they look what happened to the natives and the indigenous people of America, they're saying whatever was done to those people is really so bad. The level of hypocrisy of how they hurt for other people that are on the other side but never hurt for the ones that they destroyed in that particular country. It's ridiculous. But some of them, when they see these people performing and they are being loud, oh, this is bravery. When it is done by black people, it's savagery, it's uncivilized, it's barbaric. Let me see if I have talked about everything. I think we are spiritual, so we easily connect to, you know, same spectrums. We are musical, and that's what the Neanderthals do not have. They desire to have it, but they can't have it because, I mean, we are talented in a different way. And whatever they are calling barbaric, it's because they are jealous, because they can't have that. The community which they deprived of, you know, the black community. And when the black community sees people coming together, that's like, you know, something echoes in their minds that this is who we are supposed to be. And this community is, it's like these people normally come out in solidarity whenever they are oppressed, or not only just oppression, but also in times when they need to communicate and send a strong message. If you do not get that, then the next move comes in, but also in a way of them working together. And it's a way of defiance and resisting. That's how they express themselves. And I think that's one way that for us, even as a black community, we speak with passion to show you how we feel and the struggles that we are going through. And that's the first form of us being defiant. And if you do not get that, that is when other actions come in, you know. So black people relate to part of that. And also, the most important thing is whatever has been happening in the US, this fills the vacuum. Because a lot of black people think that the elections were not fair and they feel like they are going to be taken back. So that moment and feeling of being like, you know, you are at loss, and then this comes in, it fuels you. Because you see other people that are fighting as you are fighting. So that encourages you to not give up and not give in. And what else? I think that's it that I came up with. So from wherever you were, you want to let me know how you felt about the Haka. For me, I think that was fantastic. That was great. You guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. I don't know if whatever I said made sense to you. You will let me know, okay? Subscribe to the channel if you have not, and I will see you in another amazing video. Until then, my name is Gracie and I love you all. Peace.